Game number 3, summerloud, NetFlxNChil. We followed NetFlxNChil since the beginning of the tournament.
Welcome, Commander.
Who are they gonna pick? So summerloud tends to random between a lot of different races, whereas NetFlxNChil we've seen it's gonna be Covenant, Raiders, or Swarm, I think. He's proven to be pretty effective with all of them. In the bottom left, summerloud getting Kala. In the upper right, NetFlxNChil choosing Raiders. So once again, Kala v Raiders, but every match we've seen with these has been great, except maybe Banshees. Everyone's favorite matchup, Banshees. Get some mints. Why would I ban you for telling me to get some mints? I did use an inhaler earlier. I used to be asthmatic. Well, I mean, I still am asthmatic. I used to be very asthmatic when I was a kid. I had to use a machine, a nebulizer, every day before school. I had to get up basically an extra hour before everybody. So I could use my nebulizer. I'd basically just sit there and just breathe through this thing, this machine. I make it sound like an iron lung. It was just like a little thing hooked up to a machine that I breathed through for like 30 minutes before school. It sucked. Both players going to scout each other. They're going to see it's Kala v Raiders. We'll see how it goes. Maybe NetFlxNChil decided to go for that Banshee play again. I don't know. Anyway, I had to use this nebulizer. Once you go, it's typical. A lot of doctors say once you go through puberty, you. What an asshole. Once you go through puberty, all he did was he just showed summerloud when he would be laying, all he did was show NetFlxNChil when he would lay down his cybernetics core. Not a big deal either way, but it's funny. Once you hit puberty, asthmatics, your symptoms either tend to get worse or get better. And mine luckily got better. I still experience problems, so I get my albuterol inhaler refilled. They don't expire very quickly, so it's very easy to keep them refilled on a pretty regular basis, but I very rarely have to use them. But on a day like today, I guess today was the day. I haven't used my inhaler for months, and today was the first one. So congratulations, viewers. You got to experience Jayborino's illness. Okay, well, let's wait and get this going. We do have that bunker going down for NetFlxNChil. The difference here is summerloud will be able to see the expansion. I think the big mistake, not really a mistake, I think it was a fair assumption in game number 1, was he saw the bunker at the expansion ramp and thought, oh, well, he's probably going to take his expansion. But he didn't. He made Banshees and just fucked him. He just fucked him with Banshees. It was terrible. Anyway, game number 2 was pretty cool. We got to see Covenant use those Ascendants. I am a huge proponent of Ascendants. Psionic Orb is very, very strong. It's very, very strong. I have seen people make mass Ascendants, though, and lose quite easily. So I don't... just based on different examples, I don't think that they are objectively overpowered, because I've seen them get absolutely smoked in the past. Okay, we've got the building swap so that we can get the tech reactor on the factory. Maybe? No! Oh, okay, here we go again. Possible Banshees. And I don't think Summerloud's going to be able to spot this. Is he sending another unit over across the map? He's got another Dragoon going on. He's just sitting outside the base. He sees the bunker. Will he react to this properly this time? I mean, how do you plan, unless you see a starport, or a factory for that matter, what are you supposed to really do? Actually, really good micro there with the Dragoons. I don't think he's going to destroy this before it gets salvaged, but if he can get up that ramp and see the starport, go up the ramp before the bunker goes, get that, no! Okay, well, now we've got a starport with a tech reactor on it, building 2 Banshees. What may happen here, though, is if Summerloud's able to put some pressure on, the Banshees may be needed for defense. All right, he's sneaking up. Can he see? He just out of range to see the starport. He's not going to see it in time. He doesn't have his, he doesn't have any sort of available detection. We have a fast cloak coming out. Okay, well, we'll see if this ends up going a little bit better. We've got a wall coming out here, supply depot, bunker wall. Summerloud maybe going to try to push up this ramp, realizing, nah, can't make it through a full bunker, but does force a lot of SCVs getting pulled off to repair, and there are the Banshees. What's being built here? A robo facility. Okay, he may suspect. Did he see it? He still hasn't seen it, but he has a robo facility, so he's going to be able to get an observer. That's going to be huge. What's he building down here? Now he's got a forge. Okay. Well, he's going to be in a bit better position this time than he was in game number 1. So we'll see how summerloud goes. It sounds like I'm really biased towards summerloud, like I want him to react and win against banshees. I'm not saying I want him to win, but I don't want him to lose against 2 early banshees like game number 1. And also, he's the mod creator. He deserves our support. I'll admit it. And look, we followed NetFlxNChil from game number 1, and I'm all behind him too. Everyone likes the up-and-comer story. Because I don't think I've casted any of his games in the past, but I think he's been around for a while. And there's the Banshees. We have a fast observer coming out. The probes running away. There is no expansion to run to, unfortunately. And in come the Dragoons, but there's no Cloak yet. It's not done yet. Cloak, though, just finishing now. And down it goes, but out comes the Robo. There, come on, Observer. 3 seconds. 3 seconds, Observer? Oh, no, there's already an Observer out. I'm crazy. Okay, and look at that. And just like that, summerloud recovering very well against that, but what is NetFlxNChil doing on the back end of this? He's making tanks. Tanks, great counter to Dragoons. Granted, Dragoons are a little faster than they used to be in the past. Ooh, we might be trying to sneak the fast gold base. That's exciting. This is a very, very short rush distance map, so I really don't foresee any long games. But we might see a really intense back-and-forth game in general. Again, the size of this map is very, very, very small. Summerloud looking like he's going to lay down this expansion. But if he throws away all of his Dragoons into siege tanks, he may not be able to hold on to it. He does lay it down while sending his Dragoons across the map. There's the tank. He sees the tank. The one repulsor not going down. But again, he knows that there's at least 2 or 3 tanks there. Sending in the observers, got to be careful. That could get scanned and killed. Is there even an engineering bay? There is not. So there is no detection here for NetFlxNChil either. So there are observers just that can see everything he's doing. He sees the tech lab working on the starport. He sees exactly where everything is placed in this base. So summerloud has the scouting advantage right now. That's great. His opponent does not realize that there's a gold expansion that's been taken. Summerloud, though, is completely appraised of the situation that mech and air forces seem to be the name of the game. What's happening down here? 2 more Banshees going around the base. We do have a robotics bay coming out, which will allow for either Reaver drops or perhaps Colossi. We will see. Nothing being built right now, not enough money, but once this Nexus is done, and I don't think these Banshees are going to... Yeah, they're not going to get close enough to see this. As long as Summerloud can survive against these types of Banshees, I think he will be okay to move into Colossi, maybe. There's the Colossus. That's exciting. Colossus are perfect to, you basically take one, you suicide it into this group, but you lay down the Firestorm, it'll kill all the tanks before they can unsiege and get out of there. Oh, no. Oh, no, but he spots the gold expansion. What are the odds? Okay. Will the cannon finish in time? I don't think it will. Summerloud, though, pulling his units back. He does have the observers out where he can spot. He might want to pull one of these back, because this is just going to cloak. Canceling the pylon or the photon cannon in time, well played. But he does know there are more Banshees on the field, so he's going to have to react to those maybe by getting more cannons on the outskirts here. And keeping an eye on what NetFlxNChil is working on. He is supply blocked right now, so he's frantically trying to make supply depots, using his money to get upgrades instead. Summerloud floating some cash. What's he going to do with those? So constant scans on the main base. There is 1 cannon here. 1 cannon should be able to hold off 2 Banshees, but they may just stay out of range of it. So that's dangerous. Summerloud maybe spotting the scan, not pulling his units back right away, but he does have this gold base saturated, and he's taking the assimilator. Now we also have vultures moving across the map. Let's keep an eye on the Banshees. And the Banshees seem content to just go ahead and attack the forge while it's building. We have these. Oh no! But he pulls his Dragoons away. And the vultures are moving into the gold base. Really well done by NetFlxNChil, but not really able to focus on both of these at the same time, basically trying to get the Banshees out instead. Meanwhile, Summerloud with the single cannon is enough. He does stasis field, and here comes the Colossus. The Colossus does not have a normal attack, but it does have an ability called Firestorm, which just annihilates everything inside of it. So let's read this real quick because it's so good. After a short delay, sets a patch of ground on fire for 20 seconds. 15 times 5 damage. Oh my god, that's 65 damage over 3 seconds. So you don't have to stand in it to take 65 damage. You just have to barely clip it for like a millisecond, and you take 65 damage. It's crazy. It's crazy. Structures are immune. That's a big deal. He's moving up. Oh, he's going to take the Colossus. He's going to go for the SCVs. There is a missile turret here, which is pretty darn good. He's got his other units here to check for the Xel'Naga Tower. Lays down a Firestorm on the ramp. All the Marines walk through it. He's going to try to get this thing out of here, but the Wraiths, the amount of Wraiths actually perfect. A lot of stuff being lost. As you can see, those Marines still die to the Firestorm. It's an excellent positioning tool. It's basically, looks like he may be trying to get some extra harassment in here. But that Photon Cannon finishing it off. If Terrans can have super powerful positional siege tanks, I don't see why Protoss can't have something that is remotely comparable, which that's how I would consider Colossus. And look, he did a lot of damage with that Colossus, but he also lost it, and he knows that there's Wraiths out there, and those Wraiths counter those Colossi perfectly. So I think if he continues making Colossi, it's going to be... They're all basically sacrificial at this point. Okay, Zealots, Dragoons coming out. We've got a High Consul coming that might see Zealot charge or eventually High Templar. And it looks like now NetFlxNChil deciding to move out. Uh-oh, this amount of Dragoons, though, going to be in major trouble unless he backs them out. They're all going to go down. No, he starts moving some of them away. That's good. This gold base probably in trouble, and I just don't think summerloud has the army supply right now to handle this amount of tanks. There are just not enough Zealots out. There's no Zealot charge. Zealot charge just starting with a Templar Archive. So, and no other Colossus to follow this up. Really good stasis field there, but it might not be enough. This amount of tanks is really scary. Decides to just skedaddle out of there with his probes and retreat to his second expansion. Probably a good idea. This gold base probably was profitable. It's hard to know, but it maybe was profitable. And what it also is doing is it's allowing summerloud a lot of time to prepare for this. Sort of. Will Zealot charge be done before... Not charge. Will Zealot legs be done before this group gets to him? And if NetFlxNChil doesn't move out right now... And he's not. Zealot legs probably will finish. We've got another Colossus coming out too. If these Zealots, this Colossus and Psionic Storm or leg enhancements finishes before this push, I think summerloud is in good shape. This is going to be very close, I think. This is a very, very intense end of this matchup. It's either going to swing very heavily in one direction or it's just going to be a constant back and forth. Meanwhile, NetFlxNChil was supply blocked, but now he's getting fast siege. That's huge and is going to help him a lot against the Colossus. He's finishing +1/1 with his bio, and he's no longer supply blocked, so he's able to start spamming out those bio units like he needs. Zealot legs is done. Psionic Storm is going to finish very, very soon. He's going to have High Templar out, and then there's the Colossus. So he has a lot of AoE potential, but those tanks may be able to kill everything before they get close. So this is going to be very, very... It's kind of a nail-biter here. It comes down to very intense micro from both players. Who uses what skills in what way. Really, how summerloud will use what skill in what way. And here comes the Colossus, going to try to get in there. Not all the tanks are siege, so he's able to lay down the Firestorm, and he's going to get the Colossus out of there. Oh, man. Oh, that's big. He's going to kill, well, only one tank. I expected that to do more damage. As you can see, the AoE isn't as big as maybe the graphics seems. So the Wraiths, though, again, they're there, ready for those. He's trying to send in those... single Zealots to see what he can see. Oh, and the Cloaked Wraiths. Is there an observer in this army? There's not. Oh, dear, but I don't think NetFlxNChil is fully confident that there is not an observer in that army. Oh, no, and the Colossus goes down. That was such a huge boon for summerloud, but that Cloaked Wraith is a big deal. He's going to use him. He's going to get one High Templar. That's a huge, huge pickup right there. Do you have enough to storm on the Cloaked Wraith? Oh, no. And just like that, all of the AoE casting that summerloud had is gone. That's a big deal. He did have vision up here. He must have pulled those observers back. And who would have thought that Wraiths would have made a big difference? But summerloud holding on really, really hard here. Those Zealots, very, very good counters. The Wraiths doing their best, and just like that, summerloud has turned the tide, even though he lost his most powerful units. It looks like he's going to go and try to attack right now. But NetFlxNChil is still ahead in supply. He's queuing up more things. His fast siege is just about done. He has an entire army here. And this is what I've been talking about with NetFlxNChil. He's, you think he's losing an engagement, you look at his base, and he's already got his army rebuilt. So summerloud does not know this, and he thinks, he might be able to push on top of this, but I don't think he can. We do have +1, or +2 coming out for his infantry, and then +1 attack coming out for his tanks specifically. And more Wraiths. I think he realized that those Cloaked Wraiths, unless summerloud keeps making observers, if he loses observers and they're gone, those Wraiths, that was a huge pickup. Destroying a Colossus and 2 High Templar is a really, really big deal. Look how fast those Wraiths are. They must have, do they have an upgrade to move faster or something? That's crazy. We have more High Templar coming out, and do we have another Colossus? I don't think we do. No extra Colossus here. NetFlxNChil, though, floating a lot of money. But, oh, big storm on top of the tanks. That's a big deal. And actually, summerloud deciding not to stand in the storm. The storm, it seems like it lasts longer, but does less damage per tick, basically. Okay, that Wraith going down, going to protect his spellcasters. And here we go, floating in again with the Zealots. And the High Templar now storming on top of the tanks. And a lot of tanks going down. Those tanks, again, without the movement upgrades. Well, no, actually, it's just the siege time upgrades, the fast siege. But they're still slow. They have a mild wind-up time to get going. There's an acceleration tactic. So summerloud, now with his AoE, is able to hold out against the tanks, against the Marines. We'll see how NetFlxNChil is going to react to this. He still has a supply advantage, and if we look back at his base, what do you know? Pretty much everything he just lost has been rebuilt. He's got the income. He can just, as long as he's not supply blocked, he can just keep pumping these units out. He's very, very good at making more production structures. As Terran, that's what I struggle with. I'm not a high-level player, so when I play as Terran, I notice it's really, like, I move, if a game makes it to the mid-game, I realize, like, oh, I only have 2 barracks. I need to make, like, 16 more. And that's always been my biggest holdup as I try to learn Terran. Also, the fast floating, I realize, is important only because of how slow things are by default. This is much slower than the normal float. I think in general, I'm not sure. Okay, we got U-238 shells coming out, and yes, this is exciting. We got some Firebat upgrades. That power suit is going to be great for Firebats. He needs Firebats to protect him from Zealots. Those Zealots are getting on top of him and killing him. That's a big, big, big deal. Protoss ground army, more High Templar, and there's the instant return that we had talked about a couple games back, which allows your Zealots to respawn as Dragoons. It's a neat little lore-based tactic for Kala to use. Okay, and both players now getting on top of each other. Both players have vision of each other's army as they both had control of that Xel'Naga tower, and I think both deciding, not today. I don't know. NetFlxNChil probably a little more confident, but those High Templar can be nasty. Let's see a big storm. No big storm today. But what do we have coming out from both players still? Just upgrades and just more low-level units. Lots and lots of Zealots from Summerloud. If we actually saw more Banshees come out from NetFlxNChil, that could make a big, big difference. Constant scans. Summerloud has 4 bases now. He just laid down his 4th. He has 3. And we have the 3rd base that's finished for NetFlxNChil. But NetFlxNChil going in right on top. Oh, dear. Just running in on top of Summerloud's army. This is huge. We have a lot of units down here, though. They were not up there where they needed to be. Will we see a big storm? Storm seems to have a relatively low range, which makes a big, big difference. And, oh, God, okay, one storm does go down on the tanks. As you can see, it's a relatively long period of attack time. But, oh, man, the amount of Marines. Oh, the Marines all dying to the storm. That was a big deal. The field medics, there are field medics in there that can repair. But Summerloud, I thought, was done for there. But we just saw huge, huge storms. He does have a good amount of gateways. No, he does have I was going to say he could use more, but he does have a lot of gateways. He's trying to rebuild all those Zealots. Instant return is almost done, which is going to be a huge boon for his Dragoon supply because a lot of those Zealots will come back. We do have really, really good, I would say an upgrade advantage from NetFlxNChil. He's got 2-2, and he's got +2 on his tanks as well. Oh, 1 tank going down there. This, another High Templar goes down, but honestly, it didn't really have the energy to do anything. The Dragoons trying to get on top of the tanks, getting rid of the tanks as the Zealots try to just peck away at the Marines. As the field medics trying to heal each other and not the Marines. And a really good pickup here from Summerloud. He's worked really hard to defend against these types of attacks as all the tanks are gone and both players sort of back on even footing. But oh, what do you know? NetFlxNChil has another army ready to go. And what is Summerloud building on the back end of this? He's making more High Templar, but will they have enough energy and time? I suspect they won't, which really scares me. I really can't emphasize enough how good NetFlxNChil is at just dumping his money into a whole other army when you're not really looking. And you can see that the supply gap is just completely increased from what it was. NetFlxNChil has always had a bit of a lead in that regard, but he just keeps rebuilding those units, and it's crazy. These tanks are very, very mobile now as well with the fast siege. Makes a big difference. We also have +3 coming out. These, oh dear. Oh, they're on the high ground. They can storm, and they, oh no! NetFlxNChil doesn't realize that this just happened. He lost all of his Marines, and the tanks are going to go down to the 2nd storm. Wow, really well played by Summerloud, using the terrain to his advantage. Meanwhile, he sent units up here to pick off the 3rd base. Not quite able to get it. Really good reaction time there from NetFlxNChil. It was a trade-off. You either save the expansion with the mass repair and responding with military units, or you respond and move those Marines, and he wasn't able to do both at the same time. And summerloud wanting to keep this pressure on. He's trying to get SCVs where he can, but these tanks are still in position. A lot of Marines, both players, just, you know what I said? This is either going to end really fast because of the size of the map, or it's going to be really intense back and forth. It's not going to be a super long game where both players are sitting on their hands doing nothing. It's going to be constant attacks from both players back and forth, and that's exactly what it's been. Summerloud does have cannons up here, so unless the tanks will need air units or scans to be able to see up there to get rid of the cannons. This is really well played. Once again, another huge army from NetFlxNChil, but Summerloud has closed the gap. He's got the Archons out right now. Maybe going to get that Sonic Barrier out to give them a few extra shields eventually. And NetFlxNChil has just been relentless with attacking. Both players kind of on opposite sides of the map. It might end up being a bit of a base trade here. I think it will be unless one player decides to pull back. There's 2 tanks here that are going to go down very, very fast. Those Archons are huge. I love them. Okay, so it looks like Summerloud is going for the expansion and maybe the production, and it looks like NetFlxNChil is the one that ended up... It's basically a game of chicken, and NetFlxNChil was the one that decided not to allow it to happen. So it looks like Summerloud continues to make things on the backside of this, but lots and lots of storms getting rid of the tanks. Summerloud has units inside this base, but his Archons have gone down. Is there anything in the main base? There's not. But this expansion was taken out by a small set of Dragoons, and it forced NetFlxNChil to pull back as the supply swings into Summerloud's favor now. Constantly back and forth. Meanwhile, the 3rd base went down to NetFlxNChil's army from Summerloud. So constant back and forth, very intense. Summerloud looking like he wants to keep the pressure on. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's going to be close. He needs a lot of like, this is just asking for a storm or maybe a Colossus. We saw 2 Colossus, Colossi, and then they were gone. The Zealots getting in there. They do have the +3 armor, so they can stand up sort of to the Marines, who are 3-3. This base was not destroyed. It was forced to run away, though, but also now we see NetFlxNChil has taken his gold base. So this is very back and forth. I think both players are going to start having mineral issues soon enough. We have a nice storm there. On top of the tanks, it's going to either force them to move or they're going to take the damage. It does force the bio units back, so Summerloud being very effective with his High Templar. Again, no Colossi back out again, and I would like to see those, but I know he can't afford them. He needs gas. Summerloud is struggling for gas, but NetFlxNChil is not really flush right now either. Those High Templar, oh, is there enough for a storm? There is. He gets 1 storm off, 2 storms up on a lot of the medics too, and all these units are so low as the Bioforce goes down. The field medics trying to repair themselves or heal themselves, but they all go down. Very good engagement there for NetFlxNChil. I will say that High Templar seem a lot more balanced than Ascendants, because the High Templar storm, it does damage much slower, so you have an opportunity to really get out of it before it deals its full damage. It's more positional. It's almost like Firestorm. Firestorm is much better as an individual tactic, but... And here goes Summerloud now pushing in. There is a bit of a supply advantage, but that does not mean this is over for NetFlxNChil. He does have money to make a lot more Bioforces, and I don't see any High Templar in here. Does he have High Templar? Are they gone? Did they all get picked off? And down it goes. And here's maybe the downfall of just HeptaCraft being a mod and not knowing, but, you know, knowing that there are units you can get specifically that counter High Templar in a way that maybe it's EMP or Ravens or what have you. I mean, those exist in vanilla, but they're different here. They're Spectres, so who knew? We have +3 attack finishing for Summerloud. Both players are closer to bankruptcy than each other realizes. So NetFlxNChil is not giving up, I don't think. He still has this base. He still has an army. He still has some money. Summerloud has more money and more of an army, but that doesn't mean that it's over. He's still using these tanks to try to get rid of this base, which is giving him time. I think he knows that this isn't going to work, but it forces Summerloud to back up. And this is why I think Kala is a great Brood War type faction, because you just have these semi-A-move Zealot Dragoon armies, which is, I mean, a lot of people complain about vanilla Protoss now, which is that they... Oh, nice snipe of that command center. I thought he was going to let it go. But they complain about how every single unit of Protoss has some sort of usable spell. There's just not a gateway unit that you can just attack with. So I think this sort of captures that, like it was in StarCraft 1. You know, which one you might prefer. There's the Spectre. And Mana Burn. Drains 140 energy from a psionic target over 5 seconds, and also dealing damage with that. What's the range on that? It's pretty high. So he has the Spectres now. He doesn't have enough energy to use Mana Burn, but he did react very quick. I mean, his opponent told him what to get. I think maybe Summer, maybe getting a little cocky, saying, I think I've won this game. I'll tell him, hey, you should have made Spectres. But now there are Spectres on the field, which may make the big difference. But you'll also notice that he's making a lot fewer High Templar, and I don't know what NetFlxNChil has that could destroy this gateway-based army outside of the High Templar. All right, and here we go. We're going to have probably one final engagement. It's going to come down to maybe the Siege Tank placement. summerloud looking to avoid the placement of where those tanks are, but in terms of macro right now, and there's the GG. I was going to say, in terms of macro, NetFlxNChil just didn't have the bases. Well played, summerloud. Progressing into the semifinals to take on Scaphism, which is exciting. They were playing some pre-matches earlier. And NetFlxNChil will go down into the losers round, into the losers bracket, so we have not seen the last of him, but those were some excellent games from both players that we saw.